Many other places that I have lived in Gary have been torn down, boarded up, or are overgrown vacant lots. After graduation, I left Gary, Indiana with no intention of ever returning here to live. But I'm back and I guess I'm here to stay. I'm sorry that most of the buildings no longer exist, but they could not stand the test of time, and it is only natural that they go because they were old to begin with. One of my earliest memories was this place. We lived in the basement. I remember one day when I was about 3 sitting outside on the stoop holding a blue balloon. One minute it was in my hand and then it wasn't in my hand. Just then my father came out on his way to somewhere and I asked him to get my balloon back. I don't remember what he said, but now I know that what I asked was impossible. Oh well. This is another place that I have an early memory of. We had a purebred red Doberman pinscher named Fraulein, and my dog had had puppies. This is what happened. Me, Cookie, that's my sister. Fraulein had some puppies. Cookie. Mitchell, that's my brother. Fraulein had some puppies. Mitchell. Barbara. Fraulein had some puppies, that's my other sister. My mother said, Mitch, that's my father's name, you better get up from here and see about them puppies. Another memory from this address is one morning I heard a single bird calling, and I asked my mother, why is it making that sound? She said it might be cold, and I thought to myself, maybe I could give it my blanket so it wouldn't be cold. This is where I spent my elementary and junior high school years, and where I had the best Christmas of my childhood. Our family tradition was for everyone to meet at my grandmother's house to open presents at midnight on Christmas Eve. This one particular Christmas, I didn't receive anything except a necklace from my cousin. I was so sad, but I tried not to let it show and put on a brave face. Since I lived with my aunt and uncle, we eventually left for home and me to bed. When I woke up on Christmas morning and came down the hall to the living room, all I could say was, ooh wee, ooh wee, ooh wee. The tree was lit with different colored lights and angel hair, which gave it an ethereal feeling. Beautiful. There was a bike, a 3-year-old doll, a pair of go-go boots, and a portable tape recorder. This was the best Christmas ever. I must have been around too because my elders couldn't understand me. This is what happened. We lived in Ironwood Circle, a housing complex of duplexes and single-story homes. And behind the complex was a stocking factory, which had a train spur that delivered whatever materials the factory needed. I remember my dog and I were outside in the backyard, which butted up to the railroad track, and my dog wouldn't get off the track, and the train was coming. I went into the house to tell my mother and grandmother that Fraulein was on the track and the train was coming. They didn't understand a word I was saying. I went back outside and the dog was still on the track and the train was still coming. So I went back inside to try to get them to listen to me. Finally, my grandmother said, she's trying to tell us something. And she and my mother went outside and saw what I had been trying to tell them. The dog was on the track and the train was coming. Even with my grandmother and mother's urging, she still wouldn't get off the track. My grandmother thought to get a pot of water and throw it on Fraulein, which made her get off the railroad track. This is the Bear Brand Hosiery Company. It was demolished in 2010. It lasted from 1922 to 1965. This was my grandmother's home in Means Manor. Behind it was nothing but sand dunes, weeds, and dry brush when I was a child. One day, my two older sisters decided to start a fire to roast hot dogs. Needless to say, the fire soon got out of hand, and I ran and told my grandmother, who got the water hose and was able to put the fire out before it spread too far. We didn't roast hot dogs that day or any other day. I liked this place because we had street parties at night with flashing lights and music and dancing, and everybody was happy and laughing. At Easter, the woman at the end of the block would hold an Easter egg hunt for all the neighborhood children. It felt like family. When it was time for me to enter kindergarten, there was serious discussion as to which school I would attend. My mother wanted me to go to Frederick Douglass Elementary School, and my father wanted me to attend his alma mater, Roosevelt, which at the time went from kindergarten to 12th grade. My mother won, which is why I live with my aunt and uncle who were childless. Douglass was only 3 blocks from their house. In those days, children walked to school by themselves, even at 5 years old. I would walk to the end of my block, walk 2 blocks over, cross Harrison, walk 1 block, and there was Douglass. This was the shortest route to school. It was until Miss Lemon, the principal, decided it was too dangerous to cross Harrison at this point. The way she wanted us to walk added an extra block. When I was in high school, I lived with my parents, and at the time, students had to attend the school in their district. For me, it was Tolliston, but the next door neighbor to the south of me went to Horace Mann. Technically, I was closer to Horace Mann than he was, so I'm assuming that Horace Mann had filled its quota of black students. I graduated from Tolliston High School, but the bad part about that is everyone, and I mean everyone in my immediate and extended family, graduated from Roosevelt High School. I was the odd one out. But I can boast that I was in the last graduating class of Tolliston as a high school, and we only lost 1 basketball game for the season, and we only lost the state basketball championship by 3 points. I was born in Gary, as was my father. I left Gary the first year Richard Gordon Hatcher was mayor and the U.S. landed on the moon, and it was the beginning of white flight from Gary. Gary has quite a colorful and checkered history, and there is so much I could say about my hometown, but I'll save it for later.